much for being here today. Again, I'm Lois with OzzyLosi Knit Designs, and I'm creating kind of a new segment that I'm calling Knitting Chats with Lowey. I'm Lowey. That's my nickname. I was going to call it Knitting Chats with Lois, but that felt formal because people who know me really well call me Lowey, and if we're going to chat, I should be Lowey. So, Knitting Chats with Lowey, and we are just going to talk about knitting and not really try to educate you, though if things come up, I'll talk about whatever, but just kind of share with you my knitting and what I have in the works. Because I recently did that with a mystery knit along, and even though I did it at the last second, so nobody was able to participate. It was still good to be live and visiting with people and sharing that journey with you all. And so if you don't know what I'm talking about, it is this. It's done blocking. Look at it. It's done blocking. And it's so lovely. And so I did want to talk about this real quick because when we come super close, I have to be able to see. Yeah. So someone in my Instagram thought those were beads. They are not beads. They are yarn that has been wrapped around 3 stitches about 5 times. And then I'm going to show you the back because I was not going to weave all of those in, and I did not because this is just going to sit on my table. You do you, boo, but I just did not feel like weaving all that in. So what I ended up doing is just did a double knot on the back and cutting that short and fraying the ends a little bit so it won't come undone. Now this True Boo yarn is very slippery, so I think it could come undone, and I would not do that if I was knitting this as something to where I would definitely weave in those ends so it didn't come undone. But since this is sitting on my entryway table and not seeing a lot of activity, then I felt comfortable just like cheating on weaving in the ends. But yeah, so it is done and I love it. So now these 3 stripes, this is a detail I haven't talked about before. Let me show you these 3 stripes here. There's one on either end. These are actually woven in later. So you just do plain stockinette stitch. Then I came through with my contrast color and did 3 lines. And so that was fun. And I like the way it looks. Just a little bit different. I like it. Anyway, so that is done now, and we're putting it to rest. But I also found my purple line art beanie, which I couldn't find the other day when I was talking to you guys about the line art beanie because I did want to show it to you. I couldn't find it, but then I found it, and here it is. So this yarn, I forgot what yarn this is. I'll put a link below. It's 100% cotton. That's one side. Here's the other. You can see that each section has a different stitch pattern. I did not do a gauge swatch when I knit this second one. I just had this yarn and I wanted to use it for something, and it's summertime and I wanted to knit a little hat that was not as hot since it's cotton. So it's not as hot at all, and it came out beautifully, but it was not gauge matched, and I have not measured it yet, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't match gauge. So I did not include it in the pattern pictures because even though I use that pattern, it isn't true to the size that it should be according to the pattern. So, but I like it. It ended up coming out more slouchy than the original design, and you can see that it's just a lighter weight now. Yeah, I like it. So one thing I wanted to mention, because this is kind of important, if you're going to knit the line art beanie, and those instructions are available for free on my website, so you can go and check that out. But if you're knitting, I can't remember which sizes it is, but if you look at the instructions, you'll be able to figure it out really quickly. But you actually have to move the stitches from the band over one, and that's a little bit more visible than I would have liked that to be. You see? Do you see how it moves? I'm trying to show the camera, but I'm so bad at life. Yeah. See? Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's okay. And it looks fine because it does that throughout the hat. And so I don't think that it is like takes away from the space. It just isn't how I would have liked to do it. But that's the way it is, so it's fine. Anyway, so yeah, the line art beanie, the purple one that I knit. There it is. So pretty. I'll just wear it for the rest of our conversation because why not? It is really cute. And it messed up my hair that I just brushed. So yeah. I also finished knitting. I'm so excited. The giant scarf. So let's see if I can do this. Okay. The giant scarf. Ready? And it goes on. 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 It is so giant, but I love it. And so I cannot wait for it to be cold because like I can wrap it all around me. I love it so much. It's going to be so cozy. And it like, so I've got it wrapped around my neck loosely, but it's still draping all the way down to my lap. So I had an idea of adding pockets so that like it has little hand warmer too. So when it's wrapped around me, I can put my hands in there. I think I'm going to do it. I haven't done it yet, obviously. But anyway, I got to take it off because it is hot today in New Mexico. Hot, hot, hot. But I love this. This is not my pattern, but I did add it to my blog post where I share knitting patterns that I've personally knit that are free because if you've been knitting for any amount of time, then you know not all knitting patterns are created equally. I hope that's not true of mine, but maybe you should tell me because I don't want to be one of those patterns. But anyway, because sometimes you can't actually get the finished object that you're hoping for. But this pattern and several have worked out beautifully, and so I made a collection of them on my blog. And I put pictures from my personal knitting. I shared my yarns, and I shared anything that I changed or that I felt was challenging, and kind of explain how I worked through that. So you can access those. I'll drop a link so you can go check out that blog post. It is a fairly popular blog post. I'm working on creating sections, so it's kind of sectioned right now, and there's not a lot, but as I knit, I will add more, as you can see. So then, this was my new knit I talked about the other day with the beautiful loops and threads ombre hues, which I have an orange and pink. I don't know what these are called. Where is the color name? I don't know what the color names are. Orange and pink. But together, don't they look like sherbet? They do, right? And so I worked up a design I was really, really happy with. Um, but, and even though like seeing them side by side like this, you can tell which one's pink and you know which one is orange. It's very clear, and you would think, I'm not going to get confused. However, when you get to the yarn and it gets into the very light colors, like it gets really similar in color. And so I was doing a mosaic color work, but it wasn't going well because once the colors get into the similar color, I can't read my knitting anymore because I'm like, is that orange? Is it pink? Is it orange? Is it pink? What am I knitting with? Orange, pink? What is it? Anyway, it was not going well. So I've put that on the back burner, not the design, just the yarn. Because look, here, I'll show you. This is what I was dealing with. Do you see? Do you see it? It's like, you can see it when it's laying flat, but when you're in the details, it's just really difficult. Anyway, I love the design that I came up with. I love it. So I cast that yarn aside for later. And I grabbed some stock yarn that I have, which I can't remember what it is, and I took the labels off because I had to wind it. But it's light blue and dark blue. It's so pretty, and I love it. Anyway, so I'm knitting that design with these two yarns, but I'll drop a link to what they are because they're really lovely yarns. And yeah, so I'll show you. I tried to stay up late so that I would have enough of the pattern so you could see where it was going. However, I stayed up very late and I did not get that far. So here it is. This is what I have so far. But yeah, so it's similar. Like you can see that the design is basically what you've been seeing, but I changed something and I'm super excited for how it's going to turn out. I think it's going to be really, really gorgeous. Once I get more knitting on this done, I'll go ahead and post a picture of it so you can see what I'm talking about. Because I think this one is like, well, that's what you were doing in the orange and pink, so why couldn't you do it? I added an element it's really an important element, but it was hard to keep track of because it changes every row. And there is a rhythm to it. So you could read your knitting and be in the rhythm, but when you can't tell what color you're working with, it's not so easy to be in the rhythm. Anyway, the orange and pink is not dead. I had, after I finished this, knitting this, like right before bed, of course, when I finally was like, I'm going to bed. Then I was like, oh, I know what to do with that pink and orange yarn. That's going to be so beautiful and very simple. And I'm really excited to knit it. And so I will get started on that when I finish this mosaic knit that I'm creating. Anyway, yeah, so a lot of freebies I talked about today. Just to recap, the mystery table runner, which is now called Blush and Bashful Table Runner, and that is available, the instructions, in my private Facebook group for knit-alongs in guide number 1. So if you wanted to get the instructions and start knitting your own, that is where you can go. Just request to join the group and I'll let you in, and then go to guide 1 and all the instructions are right there. And then the second freebie is this line art beanie, which is on my blog, on my website. And so I'll post a link so you can go get that if you want. And then finally, this lovely freebie that I knit, that's someone else's pattern. So I'll drop a link to my blog post about the free patterns that I knit, because there's some amazing patterns out there. And I definitely support us paying for patterns, obviously, because I design patterns. However, sometimes a free pattern is gorgeous, like this, and you just gotta knit it. You just got it. Anyway, that's gonna be it from me today. I hope that you enjoyed Knit Chatting with Lowey, Knitting Chats with Lowey, whatever I named it. I'll have to look. And I will be back. Oh, it's right here. Knit Chats with Lowey. I will be back next Tuesday and we'll do another knit chat. And I don't know what we'll talk about, but we will figure it out. If you have any knitting questions that you would like me to answer, you should totally drop them in the comments so that I can see them and talk about it in the next knit chats. Otherwise, we will continue, I guess, me showing you what I'm working on and what I finished, because it actually keeps me accountable. And I'm hoping to have fewer hibernating projects this year. I am the queen of hibernating projects. I finished this table runner and I wouldn't have done it without you all. So thank you for holding me accountable. Until Tuesday, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.